Hello everyone and welcome back. I am going to be reviewing chapter 1142 of One Piece, What I'm Afraid Of. And we open up, as always, I love One Piece for always having a lovely little cover story / image. And I did wonder if when Yamato was going to step in and maybe save Ulti or whatever. And yeah, straight away, next week. And she amazingly seems to have one shot Who's Who. Amazingly. And she looks really cool doing it. Oh, man. So, yet again, late with the chapter review. But honestly, this time I've got a good excuse. I was in France skiing. Had a great time with friends. So, hopefully you'll forgive me. So, we crack on with the first page. And I was wondering where they would, carry on from the last chapter. And we're going to the Walrus School. I always forget that it's called the Walrus School. And the children are terrified and running from something, and you can see there's a silhouette of a snake. And then the bottom half of the page, you get a close-up of the snake, and it does actually look terrifying. So I don't know who's controlling that. You'd assume it's probably part of the royal. What are they? The Royal Guards, the Holy Knights. But yeah, they're after the children. So moving on to the next page, the teachers are now in a panic. It's interesting that they say that it sounds like the creatures from the underworld. I'm not sure about that, but they spring into action. Middle of the page, we get some name drops. We already knew about Angie. She's apparently a language teacher / librarian, but we've also got Principal Tusk and the principal and Mr. Blade, the math teacher. And at the bottom of the page, looks like this young boy Aegir is about to get gobbled up by the giant snake. So he is in trouble. So let's see. I assume he's going to get saved. And the next page does reveal that indeed the child gets saved. Principal Tusk actually jumps in to engage the snake. And just you see in the bottom panel, a massive smack to the snake's cheek with his hammer. Amazing hit. But in the next page, it appears the snake's not done, and also that Saul is going to jump in. So he dives in, and I love this name for an attack. It's so stupid, but so fitting for being at school. His midterm Ixslam. And the snake just takes a massive hit to the top of the head. Just amazing. But next page, it's clear the children are still in a panic. The snake's still on the attack. And then the bottom half of the page, a little bit of a reveal that they didn't mention initially, that Principal Tusk is formerly of the Giant Pirates. That's interesting. And sorry for the noise, getting pinged on WhatsApp. So that explains why Tusk is so strong. He's a former pirate. But we move on. Next page, and the children are amazed at the performances of Saul and Tusk, obviously. But we transition scenes to the inside of the school because a Mr. Wolf has been found, the gym teacher, and he is in a hell of a state. Who's done that to him? Maybe we'll find out. So there appears to be a bit of an ominous situation with the children here, that a lot of them have wandered off, but Mr. Wolf, the gym teacher here, says that you mustn't touch the children for some reason. And obviously a bit earlier in the panel here, one of the kids seems to be getting Robin's attention because she knows Luffy. But the information in the bottom set of panels is that the children went off sort of sleepwalking somewhere, which is obviously very confusing. But on the next page, we do get a panel of the sleepwalking children. So you can see they're all definitely sleepwalking and they can't get them to respond. Is that one of Gunko's arrows, like directing them maybe? Or is it just like they've got an arrow for some reason? I don't know, but maybe we'll find out. But the bottom half of the panel is they are now sounding the horn to alert the country. So things are escalating quick. Okay, sorry for a weird transition and light change and whatever. I mid-recording had to go to a dentist appointment. I ran out of time. Surprise. But anyway, turns out there are monsters everywhere. It's just not that giant snake. And what is that expression Chopper's making? And then we move on to the middle set of panels and another Chopper expression. But the children are apparently passing out, and we get to the final one where Chopper pulls himself together. He's not doing goofy expressions anymore, and he, well, being the doctor he wants to be, wants to look at the children. So that's their point of action. So we move to the underworld with Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Loki. And I find this whole page just so intriguing. So even though he's still got a sea prism cuff on his leg, it doesn't seem to be holding back a lot of his... He's still unleashing loads of power, supposedly, and causing absolute mayhem. And he's talking about hitting something. So I guess it did look like he had his eyes covered. I don't know if that means he is blind or he just has his eyes covered. But he is causing chaos, and he's talking about fires will spread to Elbaph. So, we already talked about the fire and lightning being a weakness of Elbaph because of the giant Adam tree. But yeah, this is all intriguing. I can't tell if Loki's going to be an ally, an enemy, whatever he's going to be. But I guess this is what's happening here. We see on this page Loki does a big old swing of his hammer, and I don't know if these effects are what these effects are, if it is fire or whatever. But everyone's in shock, and he's causing so much damage, and he's just going a bit wild. I mean, we were told he kind of caused chaos before Shanks kind of took care of him, but Loki is causing trouble. But then we see on the next half of the page that it seems to cause like some sort of lightning strike and starts a fire. It's almost like he's got Thor's hammer, even though Thor's hammer is Mjolnir, but Loki is a menace at the moment. But that whole situation with the underworld and Loki and Luffy and all that, it was very brief, because we go back to the Walrus School, where a lot of weird stuff is going on. So Angie is like, seems to be like, she recognizes the monsters, and we get a little, I guess, flashback where she describes something that happened at the school. We get to the bottom here where the kids are talking about all their scary things that destroy the world and whatnot. They talk about, Loki and even Nika and Fenrir. So this is where all the monsters are from. Their drawings, essentially. But yeah, we get even more monsters on the next page. Ghosts, undead Draugr, storms, Nidhogger. I don't know, Nidhogg. I've always called it Nidhogg, but whatever. The lightning dragon, Jormungandr. My mum. I imagine one of the monsters ends up being his mother. I wonder if that's Colin. Anyway, we move on to the middle bit, and you've got Ylva talking about how all this talk of monsters is going to give her nightmares, and at the bottom they're talking about all these things they're seeing are the drawings. Confirmation it was the drawings, and it makes me wonder that those sleepwalking children, they're being like Pied Pipered or whatever, and their nightmares are coming into fruition now. But we get to the final page, and the top half of the page is amazing. So you look at all these, right? And it's the monsters they were talking about. There's, I guess, the ghost on the left-hand side. You've got, I think that's Nika, with the sword and the shield. Thunderstorms, yeah. And there's one of these. There's two. Looks like there's two ghosts. I don't know. I think the middle one might be Loki. That and to the left of him looks like Fenrir. There'll be the Draugr next to that one. Jormungandr on the far right. A weird bear. I don't know what mythological creature that might be. If you guys know, let me know. I'd love to know. And then that might be Nidhogger, the bird thing, maybe. Oh no, Nidhogger is like the serpent. So that could be Jormungandr or Nidhogg, or whatever. It's really cool though. Really cool shot of them just overlooking and seeing these absolutely monstrous things in the background. And then we get revelation of who's actually caused this, and it seems to be an ability of killing him, the Holy Knight. And this apparently will last until they get the kids back to the ship. But I also love that he asks Gunko what if she's afraid of anything, and she says Nika. So I'd love for her and Luffy to clash, so she gets to see like the manifestation of Nika. It would be amazing. I wonder if that's what they're setting up. All in all, an exciting chapter. A lot of stuff's happening in Elbaph. So far, the Holy Knights are having their way, but I think we're coming to a head, and there will be clashes soon. Because, well, with all this going on, I think there has to be, and I'm sure Loki wants revenge on the Holy Knights. But we will find out on Sunday, I think. Yeah, it is Sunday. Until then, I will see you all later. Thank you, as always, for watching. Bye.